Hi everyone. In this video, we are having a look at our finger knuckles. I, in a recent video, shared how I'd been going through an interesting pain and discomfort sensation in my right index finger, the upper knuckle right there. And at the same time, interestingly enough, I also experienced pain in my right hand ring finger, also upper knuckle. And this experience with pain in the knuckles is sometimes quite challenging to determine initially, because there are also quite a many factors that contribute to general physical discomfort over the years, and one of them also being your activities, non-activity, age, genetics, your predispositions for certain ailments, illness and disease. So, many people have asked me the question, okay, but how do you determine, whether what is going on in your body is mental and or whether it is purely physical? Now, for me, I have, with mapping my mind in my body, I've always found when there's some discomfort that becomes accentuated in my body, I first and foremost take care of it on the physical level. I see the necessary medical practitioners and professionals to assist and support with the care and the health and the support of my physical body. Is this body, I only have one of them this life, so take care of it. So everyone, please remember this, and I emphasize again, when an ailment, pain, discomfort continues constantly, and it is really affecting you mentally as well as physically, especially, please see the necessary medical professionals. So I first and foremost take care of the body. So I know sometimes when my joints are, painful or uncomfortable, or there's definitely an unease. I firstly assist and support with an Epsom salt bath. For me, an Epsom salt bath supports when there's like a stiffness pain. And this is essentially what I felt in my knuckles as well. It was stiff. It wasn't feeling as though it was flexing and bending, naturally and comfortably. There was definitive strain. So you can also have a look at just doing this for a moment. And it's also quite interesting because sometimes when I've got discomfort in my knuckles, I'm like, when last did I actually just see what is normal and natural for my knuckles, because sometimes we might become aware of something that's happening in our bodies, but actually it's always been that way, so it's kind of natural or normal for my body. But there's just random days, random moments where, you'd kind of be daydreaming and you'd be sitting a certain way or doing something with your body. And in that moment, you become aware of, wait, here's something I hadn't noticed before. So, that's also what happened to me one day. I was just sitting and I was watching something, and I was playing with my hands, and I started feeling my knuckles, and my right hand was different to my left, especially on the upper knuckles as well. This is where my awareness was, focusing on. And so firstly, with my hands and they're feeling a bit stiff, gave them a very nice massage with cream first. Also placed my hands in nice warm water, to relax. To relax them, to relax myself. Because it's also interesting how sometimes when we're stressed and tense, we might not feel it, but on a conscious level, but our bodies kind of show, hey, you're stressed, you're tense now, so you've got to relax. And I find warmth really relaxes me. Epsom salt baths, when I feel my joints, my back, my shoulders into my lower back is tense and stressed. Epsom salt bath is a dream come true, in my opinion. So do give that a try. And then also just while I'm in the bath, just relaxing and moving and doing nice stretches with your body. Because sometimes it's also interesting, we want to relax and then we just take a nice warm bath, but not realizing the body might also need support with relaxing. And stretching is one of the best ways. So, I warmed my hands a bit, calmed myself, and just gave my hands a nice massage. And so I was quite curious as to why these knuckles particularly were so under strain, feeling so tight. And then I realized, okay, I started becoming aware of this while watching something. So I was wondering, am I doing something with my hands that I'm not conscious of while watching something? So then I sort of continued watching, but a different episode of the same show. And I started noticing how I clench, like subconsciously clench my right hand. Yeah, right here on my legs, or when I'm thinking I'm comfortably sitting, I'm taking my direction finger and my ring finger, my index and my ring finger, and I was literally almost like gnawing it into the couch or my chair or even my legs, but not hard, kind of soft, but it was like the twitch that was happening. So that was very interesting. Then taking it a step further, like, okay, but when and why exactly do I do that? Now, what we've established, your right hand, your right side, has to do with your relationship with your external reality, and your left side to do with your internal reality. So it's more your personal relationship with yourself, in your own thoughts, your own emotions, your own inner dialogues, fantasies, imaginations. Whereas your right is your more actual relationships toward other people, your environment, things in your environment, your animals, your future, your career, your purpose, how you physically, practically really live in and towards others in your everyday life. So furthermore, now that I know that, I'm looking at something in my everyday life, right side, my direction finger, my index finger, showing if there's here now the knuckles, this, and especially here by the upper knuckles, we are working with dimensions of something that you're in the process of like grabbing meaning holding on to, that you can get or gain, a goal or achievement that you've been wanting to work toward or working toward, and you're like almost at that point where you can grab it, where you've got it, you've pulled it through, but you're just not there. Okay. So now I've got to look at, okay, what have I been working on and working toward when it comes to a particular direction in my life and a relationship with that something or someone that I've been working with. Because now your relationship finger, here you're working with your relationship with yourself, your ring finger, index finger, a particular direction that you're going in. So then I looked at, okay, now I'm working with those two aspects in my life, but what in this particular series is triggering this? And it's interesting because the series was about an individual finding themselves in a position of obligation and responsibility that they didn't feel ready for at all. But they were in it. They were there. They were already doing it. And they're doing it well, but, inside of themselves, they felt like, they were placed there. They didn't choose that position or life. They wanted something else, something different. But they were forced into a life and a position that they felt they didn't want to be in, and they couldn't be in, and they weren't worthy of being in. Where was I in my life at that stage? Exactly there. So it was all about, me being in a direction, in a relationship with an obligation or responsibility in my life And I was already in it. So at that precipice, that moment of, taking it upon myself and accepting that position, that direction in my life, because it was here, and I was doing it well. But there was that part of me that was still fighting it and resisting it in a way. So for anyone working with your knuckles, especially with your index finger and your ring finger, here, have a look at that experience of finding yourself in a position in your life in relation to a career, a purpose, something that you're doing that you might be resistant toward, because you believe you were forced into it. But I've come to realize that, that belief of feeling forced into it was because I, on a level inside myself, thought, desired to do something different, but walking and accepting and embracing that particular direction and relationship in my life of that obligation and responsibility was in fact the best thing that ever happened to me. So observe that inner conflict that you could become aware of with the knuckles. All right, we'll continue more with knuckles in the next video. Thanks very much, everyone.